Am I the only one with a sense of deja vu? It's the Wilk Report. I'm Michael Wilk, coming to you from Cleveland, Ohio. And yes, we are having a sense of deja vu, at least over here, because I distinctly remember doing a video about this months ago over another movie from another country that people were misinterpreting rather deliberately because everyone's got to be an outrage merchant and take things out of context about stuff they haven't even seen yet. Yes, and of course that video, linked to up above here in the right-hand corner, was The Trouble with Being Born, a German or Austrian film directed by a woman about an android that is built to resemble a child and is used by its owners to basically resurrect people in their lives who had previously passed away. In the case of the first owner, the man had lost his wife and young daughter and used the android to really kind of relive his memories with both of them. It's kind of implied that he's doing some questionable things with the android, but not explicitly shown. And then, of course, the android passes into the hands of an old woman who dresses the android up to look like her long dead younger brother. And the film really is about how humans tend to exploit technology, and yes, children too, to really kind of impose their needs and whims upon it. In the case of the android in The Trouble with Being Born, the owners are trying to make it fit their memories of people they had lost. And it's left ambiguous as to whether the android is actually having genuine emotional reactions or if it's just, fulfilling programming. So, but yeah, people were up in arms about that, claiming that it glorified pedophilia and it did no such thing, which I pointed out in my last video, which again, you can watch up here in the upper right-hand corner. But now people are at it again. Various YouTubers and news reporters are up in arms, people on Twitter, about a movie called Cuties, or maybe it's a TV series, I'm not sure. But it's on Netflix in September. People are already trying to get it taken down before it's even released here, and they're up in arms over the cover poster that Netflix had produced, which deviated from the original French version. And honestly, I can, with regards to the poster, I can kind of see both sides of the argument, but honestly, I think people are kind of, once again, getting carried away and getting into full-on Puritan mode. But I'll let you be the judge of that. So let me go ahead and get to the news article here on IndieWire. Netflix apologizes for inappropriate Cuties poster amid outrage over sexualizing children. An online petition to get the film removed from Netflix has earned over 35,000 signatures and counting. Netflix has issued a statement apologizing for the marketing around the upcoming original film Cuties, directed by French filmmaker Maimouna Ducouré. I hope I did not mangle that too badly. I flunked French 3 years in a row in high school. Sue me. All right. The movie world premiered at the movie's world premiere was at the 2020 Sundance Film. These article writers really need to work on their grammar because that is just an awkward sentence. But yeah, it premiered at the 2020 Sundance Film Festival, where it won the World Cinema Dramatic Directing Award and earned Ducouré a spot on IndieWire's annual list of rising women directors to know. Netflix received backlash over the film after it debuted a poster for the film on August 18th that many believed sexualized children. We're deeply sorry for the inappropriate artwork that we used for Mignonnes' Cuties, a Netflix spokesman said, or spokesperson. It was not okay, nor was it representative of this French film, which won an award at Sundance. We've now updated the pictures and description. Cuties stars newcomer Fathia Youssef as Amy, an 11-year-old girl who befriends a group of dancers at her school and begins growing into her burgeoning femininity. Amy's coming-of-age experience with her new friends upsets her mother as it is in direct confrontation with the family's Senegalese Muslim traditions. And here on Twitter, you see the original French poster work, which honestly, it does make the girls look a lot more adult than they really are. Uh, and then the caption on the left by Beth Elderkin says, the poster for Mignonnes, a French movie about a black director that comments on hypersexualization of girls in modern culture, right? How Netflix is marketing it. And this is the controversial poster that Netflix did, and it's actually a really bad Photoshop job. It's badly edited. The blonde really is not portrayed in a flattering light compared to the others. The outfits are pretty borderline. I honestly would not consider it overtly sexual, but that's my more modern European take. Because I tend to socialize online with people who are in Europe. I watch a lot of content from overseas, and so I don't have nearly as many hang-ups about sex and sexuality as a lot of my American contemporaries. So I don't necessarily see this as being nearly as bad as people are saying, but you've got people like, for example, you've got Drunk 3PO over here, you've got Krista Nova, you've got Mr. H reviews, and they're all getting their panties in a wad over Cuties, which honestly I haven't seen it yet, so I can't comment it. I'm not sure I am even inclined to it, because I do like coming of age movies, but I'm a guy, so I tend to gravitate towards more male oriented, because I relate more with young males, and that's just in terms of watching coming of age stories, because it's not that I'm opposed to watching films that are coming of age, with female protagonists, but I can't relate to it as easily. So, and European cinema is actually full of movies that are actually. I mean, if people think that Cuties is at all controversial, you obviously have not seen French cinema from the 1980s and 1990s, because it was, or even going back to the 60s and 70s, it was a lot more graphic than it is today. Examples that come to mind are The Little Thief and The Cement Garden, both starring Charlotte Gainsbourg. You've also got 36 Fillets, which and then Olivier. I mean, these are films that really push boundaries for their times, although their female protagonists were portrayed a little bit older than the girls in Cuties, but they were still, considered underage for American audiences, so they obviously didn't catch on too much here in the States, but over in Europe, I mean, this was, standard fare back then. So, a lot of these people are commenting on something that, again, they haven't even seen. It doesn't come out to Netflix until September 9th. I saw the trailer, and, it does show some scenes where she's, like, being exposed to this new world where she witnesses her neighbors, doing this stuff. But, they really are going over the top again, because as I pointed out in my last video on this subject, if you're trashing something you haven't even seen yet, and you don't know anything about it, and you don't make any effort to know anything about it, well, how do you know that you're being truthful about it? Because the hype over it, because Hollywood does like to push hype and push controversy in order to sell tickets and get people to watch the content. But when you actually go and watch it, it turns out to be a lot more tame than was presented in the trailer or on the movie poster. So, and I'm going to go play a little bit back from some of the videos here. So let's go ahead and go over to Drunk 3PO.
Still talking about this movie, Cuties, because Netflix gave an apology. They gave an apology. Just remove the movie. Just remove the movie.
And then you've got Krista Nova
Now I'm gonna try again. Paste. Saving. Saving. An error occurred on YouTube. This is usually a temporary. Wait a moment to try again. Blah 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 blah.
All
blah.
right. Well, I'm not gonna. Yeah, this thing's over almost an hour long, so I'm not gonna try and go through that. And then, of course, you've got Mr. H reviews over in Britain, where again a lot more puritanical than on the mainland.
Done fudged up. I mean, they really done fudged up. I don't really know what happened here. Why anyone thought this was appropriate.
So yeah, some of the reactions from my fellow YouTubers, obviously, again over the top. Because again, we haven't actually seen this thing. It doesn't drop to Netflix until next month, and this is still maybe a couple of weeks away, 3 weeks away. So obviously, I'm willing to give the benefit of a doubt, mainly because people over here in the United States and in Great Britain, we are infamous for misinterpreting things that we haven't seen because it generates clickbait. I don't like clickbait. That's why I generally tend to avoid pushing the rumor mills unless there's actual verification. For example, with the leaks that happened for the Terminator Dark Fate movie that was released last year and flopped at the box office because people had already gotten wind of the plot, which had completely leaked before then. And, they reacted negatively, and for good reason, because it completely undermined everything that had happened in the first two films, which, are the only ones that are considered canon to this new film. So, so generally I'll report on stuff like that if there's verification. But, in terms of the rumor mill and clickbait, I try to stay away from that because I want to bring you news that has to do with reality, not, people's misperceptions or deliberate deceptions. For example, I'm not going to go ahead and promote stuff that Kowalski or necessarily any of the clickbait pushers like promote conspiracy theories like 9/11 was an inside job or Pizzagate. I don't push that stuff because more often than not there's no truth behind it. And when you look at the stuff that I just pointed out, you're giving people like Kowalski and other haters ammo to trash talk you. I have to say, guys, I respect you. I like a lot of your content, but there are a lot of times when I have to say, you are giving ammo to the people who say that you're, kind of bigots or something, even though it's not true. But you're not making it really easy to really debunk what the assholes like Ruin Johnson or Kathleen Kennedy or Paul Fatigue or any of the assholes I've also reported on who've responded negatively to backlash against their crappy content, because they are completely bankrupt of any retort that doesn't end in crying racism or sexism or homophobia or whatever, because they've got no defense of the things that they've done with their movies and TV shows. And of course they go ahead and misinterpret, and deliberately so, in order to give a deceptive narrative that says, the people on YouTube are a bunch of man babies and haters. And more often than not, they are actually pointing out legitimate criticisms that are to be had for your content. But in this case, you're you're just giving them ammo over this and creating clickbait because, again, you have not seen this movie, and I doubt you will. And I probably won't see it just because again, I'm more inclined to relate to films like 400 Blows, which is about this 12-year-old boy who in France who goes through his coming of age in that film. And then of course the director made a number of sequels featuring that same actor in different points in the character's life. So it's a thing where you kind of grow up with that character if you follow the films that are about him. So that's the kind of thing I relate to because, I identify more with that character. But that's, me digressing quite a lot and just kind of rambling on because I've got nothing better to do. I'm still feeling a little under the weather. I've got my COVID test tomorrow, not looking forward to that. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you. If you like what you've heard and you want to hear more, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon and select all to receive notifications whenever we upload new content. Like this video, share it. If you want to help support the channel, keep the lights on, help us bring you more content, head over to our Patreon or our Subscribe Star page. We can't do this without you. Until next time, this is Michael Wilk for The Wilk Report saying take care. Good night. I'm out.